Hello, and welcome to another riveting edition of Hashtag Philosophical Friday. So this morning, about 5:30, I was doing what I often do on Friday mornings, and I was scrolling through Twitter just looking for a source of inspiration for Philosophical Friday. I came across a tweet that I saw that basically was a teacher saying that he was teaching some new stuff, and he felt like he was finally getting back into his old groove, and that but it was kind of hard with teaching a new curriculum. And so I had a couple thoughts about that I just wanted to share with you. And the first thought I had was basically like preach. So since starting the computer science program, I'm currently teaching my seventh new class in 7 years. And so I just feel like I'm in this constant state of like having to continually learn and relearn and all this other stuff, all this new material just to teach these classes. And so, but I think one thing that's really done is I think as a teacher, when you teach a curriculum that, or a subject that you're extremely familiar with, it becomes pretty easy to just forget what it's like to be a learner. And so I think that as I've had to continually learn and learn all these new topics and courses and stuff, that it's basically made me over the last 6 years be a lot more empathetic to students and what they go through. So I think that basically by having to go back through the learning process myself, it reminds me of just like how exhausting really true learning is, and it is really exhausting. And so so I think that as teachers, it's our job to be the lead learner, and that oftentimes we lose sight of that whenever we're not participating in learning ourselves. So I'm really thankful for that opportunity, but also know that it is tiring and it's hard to continually keep learning. But it's definitely worth it for the opportunities that are created. The other thing is that when I saw that I'm getting my groove back, I've been pretty a little jaded with the educational system lately. I'm just getting to a point in my career where I'm just starting to question everything that we do. Like, why do we still grade the way we grade? Why do we still give tests with void of any resources? And like, why do we have all these educational practices in place? And like, what good are they serving today's learners? And so I've been thinking about that. And the hardest part about this is that like with all these new courses and trying to think about how am I going to do things differently, the hardest part is that like I still have this vision of what things are like or what things used to be like whenever I'm thinking about what do things look like in the future. And the reality is that if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always got. And so sometimes the hardest part of moving on to something new is basically losing sight of what was going in the past. So that doesn't mean that there aren't things in the past that didn't work, but sometimes you just have to really lose sight of what was going on in the past if you want to be able to reimagine something that was new. So ultimately, I tweeted back at the person and said, don't get your groove back, create a new groove. And so that's what I encourage you to do. Like if you've got something that you're thinking about, if you've just been kind of unsatisfied with something or how it's going, and you're thinking about how things used to be and how can you kind of improve it, sometimes you just have to lose sight and just kind of basically lose sight of that old thing, create a new groove. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.